Merry meet everybody. This is Poe, and you're watching Witches of the Moon. This week, the topic for discussion is tolerance in our area and community. Um, I will tell you that I live in a very small town in southeastern Arizona that is mostly consistent of Christians and Mormons. It is a very large Christian and Mormon community out here. Um, if you're not one, you're definitely the other, and it is very few and far between that there's anybody that is outside of those two in particular in this area. Um, there are I want to say I counted, the town isn't very big, okay? Like I said, it's very small, and I'm not even really sure how many people live in this area, but there is one Walmart, one Safeway. Those are your only choices as far as grocery shopping in this area. And it's funny to me because there are about, I'd say, 12 churches, if not more. Um, and that's just what I've counted. I don't even know if that's all of them in the area. So it's really interesting. There's more places to go to church than there are to actually buy groceries in this area or to even buy gas for your vehicle. Um, so yeah, it's like I said, mainly Christian and Mormon in this area. And um, Amethyst Moon had mentioned that she lived in a small town, and that she was not widely known in her community for being a witch. I am very much the same way. I don't socialize here. I don't I don't have any friends in this area. I don't know anybody around here really, except for my neighbors, and that's really it. And I don't believe that they know that I am. Although I don't hide it. I wear my pentacle ring all the time. I always have, different crystals and crystal there, and my amulets. I'm always wearing them. I never hide them. So it's not so much that I'm like Amethyst. It's not that I'm not a proud pagan. It's just that not a whole lot of people. I don't socialize with a whole lot of people here, and therefore nobody really knows, although I don't try to hide it. Um, I have run into a few people who have taken notice, I suppose, of some of the jewelry that I wear, and have commented and or just straight out told me I was going to hell. Going to hell. I had every Sunday I go and do laundry at the laundromat because we don't have a washer and dryer at our house, and we're saving up for that right now. But so I have to go every Sunday and do laundry at the laundromat in town, and I have to commute about 15 minutes to get to the laundromat because I am in an outer lying area of this very, very small community, so I have to commute everywhere. I can't go to the hospital without taking a drive, can't go to the grocery store without taking a drive, can't really go get gas without taking a drive, so I have to commute. So I remember it was around the beginning of the year. I go to this laundromat. I've been going to this laundromat for 3 years now, I believe, and really friendly family that owns it, and always really, really just a pleasure to talk to. They're very nice people, and it's a woman who I believe is in her 50s or 60s. Her daughter, who is closer to my age, maybe early 30s, and her grandmother, who is, I'd say, maybe in her 80s. And they all take turns every Sunday, sitting there at the laundromat because people bring their clothes in for them to wash because they don't want to. Um, So, anyways, every Sunday I see one of them at least, sometimes two or all of them, but um, and they're all super friendly, like I said. But this one particular Sunday, it was at the beginning of the year, like I said. I had just gone to Florida to visit my mother, and I had bought this pentacle, this pendant, and while I was down there, and it's a protective thing, you know. It's got the sacred name of God in Hebrew uh, on the outside of it. So it's a protective thing. So I was wearing that, and you know, it's a pentacle. I wanted a pentacle, you know, so I wore it, and in plain sight. And I hadn't, you know, run into anybody that had asked me any questions about it or anything. But on this particular Sunday, the grandmother was working at the laundromat, and there are these two large tables that sit in front of the window where the grandmother sits. And so I'm standing there. I walked in. She was very friendly. You know, did my laundry, brought it up to the front where the big tables were, and started folding my laundry like I normally do. Um, and all of a sudden, I got this feeling that somebody was staring at me, and I looked up, and she was just it. It was really odd. I've never seen her look like that. It was this look of just not being sure what to think, and she kept looking down at my necklace and then up at my face and down at my necklace and up at my face. And I could tell there maybe she wanted to ask me something, but I didn't push it with her, because I believe that that family is pretty religious. um, so I just smiled at her and kept folding my laundry, and she kept staring at me. She stared at me the whole time up until I left the laundromat, which was all of about, I'd say, 15, 20 minutes. And she sat right there and stared at me the whole time. And the feeling that was coming off of her, it was radiating off of her that she was a bit uncomfortable. Um, Although she never asked, she never said anything disrespectful, she never questioned me about it or anything. You could just tell it was kind of, like I said, radiating off of her. It was easy to feel that coming off of her, that discomfort, and kind of not knowing, you know. So that was, like I said, the beginning of this year. And then I had a couple in the grocery store. One of the Sundays, again, that I was doing laundry, because I also do a little bit of grocery shopping on Sundays as well. Um, a couple who looked like they had just gotten out of church approached me in Safeway, and basically the woman told me that I could be saved, and she handed me a pamphlet of some kind, and I looked at her, and she wasn't rude, you know, not disrespectful, but I looked at her and I told her, I said, I respect your religion, I respect your beliefs. I said, but I have tried that path and it does not work for me. And what I practice now does work for me. And I do not need saving, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And that was kind of the end of that. They just sort of walked away. But, you know, just I didn't get irate with them. I didn't, you know, say, well, what makes you think I need to be saved, you know, kind of thing. It was just, I just told them I respected what they were saying and I appreciated them wanting to save me, but that path did not work for me in the past, and I'm happy where I'm at. Um, Very respectful, very polite, very kind. No disrespect, no rudeness. The only time I have found I've so far that I've experienced any kind of um, rudeness or that sort of thing is the most recent time, and this was back in, I believe, the middle part of March. I was walking into the grocery store, and there was this. I'm trying to think of a good word to not sound judgmental, because it's not what this is about. But she was disheveled looking, this woman standing outside of the Safeway there, and I was walking in, and she stopped me and basically started yelling at me that I was going to hell, and that I couldn't be saved, and that I'm trying to think of the exact words, that my rituals are the fuel that feeds the fire that I will basically burn in hell. And she was like screaming this at me I mean, she was yelling, projecting very loudly. And she just proceeded to tell me that I was going to hell for my rituals, and started going on about sacrifices and all of this stuff. And I just looked at her and I was like, okay. And I walked away. I didn't even, she was still shouting when I walked away. That's the thing about tolerance, is that, and I believe that Joey covered this very, very well. How we deal with people of different beliefs and different faiths, and that sort of thing when it comes to tolerance. Um, Being that there is a lot of stigma within other religions about what we do and what we practice and who we are, um, and how emotionally charged people are by their faith, it's one of those things where, and I strongly feel that it's all a matter of picking your battles wisely. Um, I didn't like I said, with the lady who was kind of screaming in my face and going on about how I sacrifice things and my rituals are going to be the fuel that feeds the fire that I burn in hell. Um, that didn't bother me, and the reason that it didn't bother me was because, and I didn't feel the need to explain myself or anything, because this person had already made their judgment about me, um, and they were being quite belligerent about it. And so when people are like that, it really is a waste of your energy to sit there and combat them and try and pound the information that you have about what you do into their heads, because it's just not going to work. It's going to be like banging your head on a wall. It's pointless. So people like that, I feel the best way to kind of deal with them is to shine them on and blow them off, because just kind of wish them well, and be on your way, because at that point where they are yelling at you and telling you you're going to hell and yada yada yada, um, it really does come down to the idea that they have already made their decision about you. There is no changing their mind. Therefore, it would be a complete waste of your energy to try and do so. So picking your battles wisely. Now, if that really nice couple who had approached me inside Safeway had asked me questions or anything like that, I'd be more than happy. Just happy to answer questions if they had any, because they were being polite. They weren't making any preconceived notions about what I do or who I am. All they were saying is that, basically their religion can save me, and, had genuine concern for my soul. And that's okay. Um, and like I said, if they had had any questions for me, wondering about my practice, what I do, what I believe, I would have been more than happy to have a adult, mature, intelligent conversation with them about it. But they didn't really, put up too much of a fight. They just kind of told me what they thought would help me, and were on their way. Um, so yeah, there isn't a whole lot of, I haven't run into anybody yet that's been like, "Oh, you're pagan. That's great." It's not been like that. It's unfortunately it's been more leaning towards the somewhat negative side of things as far as tolerance is concerned. Um, but then again, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of friends around here. I don't socialize a lot in this area. Um, and there are not any pagans or pagan groups or festivals or celebrations or the like in this area. I'd have to drive about 45 minutes west to the larger city to um, to go to anything like that. And it's funny because it's not that far of a distance between the two places where I live and Tucson, Arizona. And Tucson has a very large pagan community. They have celebrations on all the major sabbats. They hold open circles. They do, you know, potlucks in the park. They do fundraisers, and they have different covens in the area, and um, you know, they just, you know, it's actually pretty predominant out there. There are a lot of pagans in that area, and it's kind of surprising. And there's a few witchy shops there as well, really nice ones. But where I live, about 45 minutes east of Tucson, um, there is nothing like that. If you were to talk about those things, if you were to have celebrations like that, you would probably run into some problems because, like I said, it is predominantly Christian and Mormon in this area. So it's just interesting to see the vast differences in such a short distance between two cities. But yeah, so anyways, I mean, other than those three instances, I really haven't experienced a whole lot of other interactions as far as me being a pagan is concerned. Um, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, so that's kind of my experience with tolerance in my area and my community. Um, so thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to us here on Witches of the Moon. You will get notifications every time we upload a video, and we try to do it every single day of the week. And also, we are still looking for a sub-host. Please get those auditions in, do a video response to any of the videos here on Witches of the Moon to be considered for the sub-host spot. Just give us some information about you, how you started on your path, and why you feel that you would like to be the sub-host here on Witches of the Moon. So we are looking forward to that. Thank you so much for watching again, and blessed be.